Hello all, good morning, good evening. Welcome to Chetan Cloud Tech. Today we are going to cover a scenario called checking the file existence in Azure Data Factory by using the Get Metadata activity and if activity. Okay, see, this is in real time, this is a very much pretty common scenario. There is going to be a file store and we are going to get a number of files in it, and our scenario is to check whether that file exists in that folder or not before we are proceeding further. Okay, now get back to this architectural diagram and try to understand first and go back to the ADF studio and we will develop this one. Okay, see, there is a Azure Blob Storage. In this Azure Blob Storage there are different files exist in this blob storage. Okay, what our requirement is to check whether that particular file exists in that blob storage or not. For that, we are going to use the get metadata activity and if condition activity in Azure Data Factory. Okay, let's try to understand what is get metadata activity and if activity before we are going to proceed further. Okay, get metadata activity. Get metadata activity is going to give us a list of fields, okay, regarding that particular folder or a file. See, I'll give you some understanding behind the story. Okay, get metadata activity. Get metadata activity is used to retrieve the metadata information. Means what is the metadata? Metadata tells us the data about that particular folder or a file. Okay, information about the file or a folder or a table without reading the actual data. It will give the skeleton information. I mean, whether see, these are all the field lists that we are going to use in get metadata activity. Whether the file exists or not, what is the file name, what is the file size, what is the last modified, and the number of files in the folder. So suppose if you give a folder path as an input, it will give number of files in the folder. What are the child items in the sense, what are all the list of files available in that folder? That information it will give. Okay, get metadata is very much used activity in Azure Data Factory pipelines. Okay, this is what, by using the get metadata activity, by pointing it to a particular folder in the blob storage, we are going to get the list of items, I mean files in that folder. And from that list of files, we are going to check whether our required file exists or not. For that, uh, we are going to use a if activity. What is if activity? In general terms also, if activity is just an activity with true true blocks, I mean true block and false block. Okay, if the expression, actually if condition activity requires an expression as an input. Okay, based on the expression evaluation, it has to go to true block or false block. Okay, based on the expression, if the expression is true, it will go to the true block. It will execute the set of activities inside the true block. Suppose if the expression is false, that go to false block and it will execute the set of activities whatever we have implemented in the false block. Okay, if activity requires an expression, okay, that has to boolean expression, that has to give true or false value. Whereas get metadata activity requires a field list as an input. Dataset, dataset in the sense connection to a file or a folder along with field list. Okay, these are all the field list. If we connect to a particular file, we will use we can get whether file exists or not, file name, file size, last modified. And if we connect this get metadata activity to a folder, we will get a number of files in the folder, child items in the folder, and table structure if we connect to table. Okay, go back to our architectural diagram and we will see how it is going to work. See, first there is a blob storage. We have a files in it, and by using the get metadata activity child items property, we are going to get list the all the file information. Okay, file names. Okay, it won't list all the files. It lists just file names. Okay, it will list the file names, And the if condition activity act as I said, an expression. It requires an expression, right? It will take. We are going to check whether that particular file exists in this list, whatever the get metadata activity returned. And if the condition, if the file exists, this if block is going to a true block, and whatever the activities we have given, it will execute. If it is false, means there is no file, and it will go to the false block and it will execute the set of activities whatever we have in that false block. And we will see this practically in the ADF Studio. Okay, see, this is how it is going to look like at the end. Okay, now I'm going to create it as a fresh. I'm going to take a new pipeline. Okay, I'll name it as pl underscore file existence checking. Okay, as a file existence checking. Okay, as I told you earlier, what do we require? We need a blob storage with all these files. See, I have a blob storage. uh, that container name is source file, and inside that there are four files exist. What I need to do as part of our architectural diagram, okay, I go I go, I have to connect to this blob storage, and I need to list the files in it. That is what my first step. See how I am going to implement this in a ADF. See what is an activity? Get metadata activity. Okay, I'm going to give a name as list the files. List the files. Okay, and go back to the settings, and here we require a data set in the sense, okay, the connection of a particular file or a folder. See here, I'm going to select, since I already have this dataset created, I'm going to select this dataset. I'll open it and I'll see it is connecting to a blob storage. Okay, inside the blob storage it is connecting to source file container. And as I told earlier, get metadata activity requires uh, two things. One is a dataset and another one is a field list. Okay, field list. Inside the field list we have to select these arguments. In our particular scenario, what do we require? We require a child items. Okay, I'm going to select this child items. So what it will do, it will connect to that blob storage, and it will list all the files whatever exist in that uh, container. Okay, let's try to execute this one and try to see. Pipeline execution is in progress. So it got success. Okay, what it is taking as an input? What is the input for get metadata activity? Input is this data set along with field list of child items. Okay, and what is the output? Output is list of items. See, items in the sense here the file names. What is the name? What is the type? See, file name is this one, PDF, text. This is the output. Now, I'm going to give an expression which has to check whether this file, whatever we are looking for, is exist in this uh, list or not. For that, what I'm going to use, I'm going to check an if activity. See, if activity. checking file existence. What I told, for if activity, we need to give an expression. And what are the activities that we are going to execute inside true block or false block? Expression I already prepared. See what it is going to do? It is going to see here this activity name. I am going to list all the files. Okay, this is what the expression look like. What we are doing here, this is an activity. Activity is what? List files is is my get metadata activity. Inside this list of output of this get metadata activity, I'm going to use the child items. See, I'll show you how it look like. Okay, see the output. See, where I'm going? I'm going output of get metadata activity. What is the name of this get metadata activity? List the files. Okay, list the files. Output. I'm going to use child items. This is a JSON written by the get metadata activities. I'm going to use this JSON. Okay, I'm going to check and I'm going to check whether this file exists or not. Our file name is what? Customers100.csv. Okay, see the structure. Okay, this output is written by get metadata activity, and then there is a property called child items, which is an array. Okay, array means the collection of objects. See, this is the one. Okay, activity means what? Get metadata activity of output and child items. This entire child items I am going to use. Okay, then I'm concatenating this as a I'm converting this as a string, and I'm using an expression. I'm using one function called contains. Okay, if its child items contains 100 customers, it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. Okay, I'm going to give this as an input to this if activity. Okay, and inside this one, what I'm going to do for now, I'm going to take one variable and I'll set. Okay, true or I'll set like file exist or not. For that, I'll create one variable, file checking. It is going to be a string type. Okay, inside that, if it is true, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set that variable as file exist. For that, I'm going to use set variable activity. True activities where we are in a true block. Okay, here set variable one. Inside the settings, I'm going to set this variable. What I'm going to set? I'm going to set file exist. File is present. Okay. Now I go back to the false block and set again one more variable. Same variable, I'm going to set it with file not exist, because false means expression is written false, so file not present. Here I'm again going to use a set variable activity, activity 2. Same, I'm going to give file not present because it is in false block. Okay, now let's execute this one. File is exist. Okay, in our scenario, file already exists in this blob storage in that particular container. So true block has to execute, and the variable one has to set with file exist. Let's debug and see. Okay, list files, get metadata activity executed. And now if condition is also evaluated and set variable one exists in true block. Okay, file is present. So file is present, that's why it go to this true block, and that expression is evaluated is true. And just in this particular scenario I have given only set variable, but in the real time here we are going to copy the content of the file. Okay, and there are certain other activities also based on the scenarios we will configure. Okay, if you want to learn more about this Azure Data Factory activities and Azure SQL and Azure Databricks, please subscribe to my channel. This is the basic understanding about list, get metadata activity, and if activity. Going forward, we are going to increase the complexity of the pipeline, and we are going to cover all the scenarios. And next scenario is going to be, if the file exists now, we just check whether file exists or not. But our actual scenario is going to be, if the file exists, we are going to copy the content of the file into SQL table. That we will see in the next video. Thank you for watching this video.